Hello, hi, hello, what's popping?
Hey, baby.
Huh? Who is your baby? What is white baby? Come inside.
I call you baby, you know, answer.
I know, because it's just shakara. You have to do shakara for a moment, as the man in the relationship, small, because most of the time they own shakara.
You never see me when they make shakara for this life. Oh, goodness me. You know the way you guys do it, eh? It's very insidious.
How?
The shakara, when guys want to do shakara, it is insidious. Like it looks like it's not there. Like you won't, it's not obvious. Like they don't put it in your face like petty, except for, some men that we know that can be petty from time to time. But it's like a very malicious, very wicked kind of shakara.
That's because we have one day out of 365 to do the shakara. So we have to milk it as much as we can.
I beg you. Welcome to Fix It Podcast.
This is where we try to contribute our two couple to fixing friendships, relationships, family. We're newly married, so we will not claim like we have so much knowledge in that field. But the little that we know in being friends who have found ourselves in a relationship and starting a family, we will try to contribute our quota to that, especially because, like we've mentioned, if you watched previous episodes, we have a peculiarity that quite a number of people have, but not a lot of people have focused on, which is the fact that I was a single child of a single parent. I say was because my mother passed on, and she was a single mother of a single child because the child is mine now.
It's the possessiveness and the way he said it for me.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, we've talked about it a few times. So we figured maybe shed a little more light on that, because in our previous episodes we talked about moving from friendships to relationships, which is also kind of like our story, and we shared with you the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, for people who are trying to make those kind of decisions, and if it works, when it works. We're an example of that working, but it will sort of like be cheating to just progress in this conversation without giving you sort of like our backstory.
Yes.
So we're coming from that place today. So yeah, he grew up having been rejected literally by his father, like from birth. So no relationship, barely any interaction whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, you figure a sad story until you see the man that he has become. And I'm so grateful. Let me now make one small confession. Yeah, let me just confess it now. So, I was married before, and I had this whole relationship with my previous mother-in-law. So I honestly, at some point, was one of those people who was like, God, I don't want to have to deal with a mother-in-law ever again. I will not lie. So it was one of those things where I would be dreading the whole idea of getting back with anybody or getting with anybody because of that entire dynamic. And it was something that I prayed about. And when I say prayed about, I'm like, God, please help me. Because I used to be one of those people who used to think, oh, well, if you marry somebody, you can marry the person without marrying the family.
You were?
I entered into it, and that philosophy went, phew, because there are things I've also come to understand. If you have a loving family, that your partner must have to learn to integrate. And in a way, it's kind of like marrying the family. And I've also come to learn that anybody who is very insistent or particular about separating you from the family, just expect problem down the line. You get? So I was one of those people who, after my first experience, I prayed. I'm like, please, I don't want to have to deal with any mother-in-law. And it was the kind of prayer that made me scared of getting back with anybody. Long story short, I met this amazing human being, and I see the kind of man that his mother raised, and I'm like, oh my God, I will have really, 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 really loved to meet her. And it's made me feel a number of times that she will have loved me too. I'm like, okay.
So hold up. So this is why you always kept asking me if Chubaby would like you.
Yes.
Oh yeah, by the way, Chubaby is was my mother's nickname.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she passed on about 15 years ago. And she kept asking me again and again, do you think your mother would like me?
Yeah.
And I kept saying, she's going to love you because my mother
would
told
have.
me something. Yeah, she would have loved you. Because my mother told me something. And it is playing out amongst, her family members, right, and her friends. And she said, the day you marry, just know say no be you be my pikin again. No, your wife are going to carry gun body. Anything she talk not true.
So
Bro,
coming back to it,
bro. If you see how my aunties and the rest of them take this role,
it's vice versa. So it balances out very nicely, and we are blessed, honestly, to have that kind of dynamic. We're blessed to have that kind of dynamic in our family. But coming back to the main story, so yeah, raised by his mom, all by herself while she was raising other people. Like, oh my God, I don't know if I could have been her, because here I was dealing with single motherhood and raising my son by myself, and he was the only person I could raise at the time. So yeah, amazing person, God rest her baby soul. So that's his dynamic, right? And then I, having been married before, separated for 12 years before I got married again, having to do single motherhood and parenthood for that entire time, because I was the major person carrying the bulk of raising my son, right? So that is a dynamic, right?
Mhm.
And in that dynamic, the way we just breeze through it, there is a lot of things that we had to deal with in that dynamic. And those things also kind of, in the wrong hands, would have had an adverse effect on the relationship that we'll have had. Because I remember one day telling my pastor and my friend, there was something you used to tell me, that you wanted somebody who was going to be your sister, your mother, your lover, your friend. Remember when you say all those things?
Yeah. And it wasn't because I was just saying it, but because it was prayers that people had said over me.
So here's
after
the
my
thing.
mother passed.
So here's the thing. The first day I had a conversation with one of my friends and my pastor, and I mentioned that dynamic when I said, the mother part and sister and lover. Wallahi, was only mother that they heard. Or mother was the predominant one that they heard. And my pastor asked, because he didn't have the entire backstory. But the minute I said, oh, this is what the person who I'm with said he had prayed for, and he said he wanted this and this and this and this. And when I said mother, he now asked, he was like, huh? Who raised him? And then that came up. And he asked the question of, okay, where's his mom? And I said she's late. And there was a bit of trepidation in that, because it was like, some people who are raised in that kind of, under those kind of circumstances, have a hard time balancing it out, because and it was something that I was scared for my son as well, before I found Daniel and we got together. It was something I was scared for. There's that thing of, you're raised by just one parent, and yes, we have single father dynamics play out. It's kind of like very different here in these parts. What you typically have is a single mother dynamic, and the single mother dynamic here in Nigeria, in West Africa, first and foremost, there is a stigma that is attached to it. Like, I would literally meet guys while I was in my in-between phase, having gone through like years of separation without any clear divorce, but we were done. Myself and my ex, we were done. Like, he'd gone ahead and got him right, and I was still trying to find my feet in that phase. And I would literally meet people, and because I knew that there was this thing about single mothers, I don't want any time waster. So you know how you're having a conversation, and it's like, oh, hi, what's your name? Oh, my name is John. Oh, hello, my name is Cheryl. I'm a single mother. So that I can get the read of them right off the bat and know if they're willing to go the long haul or not. And trust me, in my 12 years of separation and trying to find my feet back again, speaking of finding my feet, I did a podcast in that series. It's called Decoupled with Cheryl. And there was an episode on finding my feet back again. So we'll put the link up somewhere in case you want to go back to that as a single mother trying to find your feet. But yeah, I went through that phase. And in that period, there was hardly anybody. In fact, there was nobody that I met outside of Daniel that I saw was willing to go the long haul. So maybe they would like you a little bit, but there's not enough in there for them to like what you're coming with. And by what you're coming with, I mean your child. Or they know that you are the kind of person that, I mean, for the most part, most single mothers that I know are grounded in wanting to raise their children, right? So it's that struggle for attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's different dynamics. Honestly, I can't go through all of them right now, but I say this to say that having been raised by a single mother like Daniel was, I can imagine what his mom went through. This is someone who was carrying so much on her shoulders, and that just, I'm sure you watching her go through all of that definitely played a role in fashioning you into the man that you are today. And I see it reflect in how you treat me as well, because you saw your mother go through it as a single mom. And I think when you saw me as a single mom, there was also that part of you that just went, I need to protect her. I need to.
So my mother happened to be a person who went, like you said, through parenthood alone, even though down the line she got married to somebody who was basically not present because he was a polygamous individual. We lived in Lagos at the time. He was in Abuja. When we moved to Abuja, we now had to go to separate houses because, of course, my mom was not going to be that person who was going to stay in the house with plenty of people. So she was the very independent woman. So she moves to her own place and I'm with her. And then based on work, she gets transferred to a couple of places. The dynamic of the marriage was just one kind. So basically, I keep calling her single mother because she was the one who carried the responsibility for me. Parenting me more than anybody else. I see my stepdad, I call him daddy and all of that. I love him deeply. But there aren't too many things I can point and say he had an influence on me, right? I can remember one or two things I can say, oh, this man brought out his money to buy for me. One-on-one. He might have been giving money to my mother for things and all of that. I do not know. I do not know that. But in interacting with my mother through life, made it really easy for me to know how to interact with you. Right?
I noticed.
It helped me understand where you were, which was why one of the first things I told you when we started was stop carrying the heavy loads. And I didn't mean it just literally.
Wait, let me just flex the calabar arms.
I didn't mean it just literally because I noticed more often than not you found yourself
on my shoulder
giving me heavy loads to carry, but it was more than that.
I know. Like, I mean, I grew to know over the years because leave even the single parenthood phase that I went through, I would consider myself as someone who grew up faster than her years. I just can't explain it, but I mean, second child.
Middle.
There's two of us in the middle because we're four, so middle child. So, the middle child dynamic sometimes plays out like that. So I always kind of like grew up thinking I am my own person. I have to make things work for myself. I have to go through it and tough it up, So hard girl, they follow me since my early days. So having, gotten married and then gotten split up and, found myself in a place where I wasn't getting much coming in from my ex's end. I'm like, yeah, tough it up. You've dealt with situations before, so deal with this one as well. So I definitely grew up thinking, and I went through that phase also thinking, you're in it alone. Nobody's there to save you. Caveat, I have the most supportive family ever. My parents, my siblings, God bless them. Honestly, through that phase, because I went back home, and this is a world where, and sometimes a culture where, your parents will say, God forbid that you come back to my house, go back and make that marriage work. My parents struggled with the fact that I had to get split up from this person that I had married because, I mean, it was a long distance relationship. It was a long distance relationship. And some people will say that was the first problem because that doesn't allow for certain things to show. But shout out to some amazing people who have made long distance relationships work. So you guys should do like a masterclass on that one. But I definitely know that after that experience, I wasn't going back to it. But again, like I said, some people will say, if you're not blessed to have a supportive family to take you in, despite they're not wanting to have you, be in a broken home. So, they were there and I love them very deeply and I'm grateful for them. But I still had this mindset that, look, you are in this for yourself,
Awesome
and you have
family.
to make it work, So I said all that to say that
I like what you just did. I said all that to say that.
yes. I said all that to say that it's not an easy thing
Mm.
really to parent a child. Even when you have the support of family, you have the support of friends, there's still some toughness about you that you need to have. And sometimes having that toughness makes you want to shut your eye to things that are good for you. So you see this thing he's saying about, he had to tell me to stop carrying load. It took a while. It took a while because even when he's telling me, I'm looking at him and I'm being like, you're just saying it for now. Okay, maybe I'll release small, but I will still carry small just in case. You got that sometimes, didn't you? Yeah. So, you go through it and you're thinking, this is me, this is who I'm supposed to be, hard girl, hard girl. And then even when you want to just relax and be taken care of, you don't want to be soft, you just get one uppercut, boom, come on, get up and hustle. You look at your child and they're asking you for things and you're thinking, oh my God, not enough. I can't give it to them. And when I say things, honestly, take it from me, it's not just the material stuff. I also went through that phase wanting desperately with all my fears of all my past experience, all the thing about family when they're involved. And I went through that phase wishing and desperately praying and hoping at the same time. This is why sometimes go bless you, they put too much pressure on God because you're asking for different things, and all those things, if He gave them to you, will conflict with each other, But I went through that, feeling like deep down inside me, like even though I was putting my best foot forward and doing my best for my boy, he still needed a man. It took my brother, shout out to you, Val. It took my brother listening into one of my podcast episodes for that to register with him because of the hard girl that I am. Your helpers will look at you and think you don't need help.
Oh God. A perception that makes people think that I should not be helped, blind it.
Amen.
Because
so one of the places I was most vulnerable during that whole phase was on my podcast. So I noticed a switch. I think there was this particular episode where I had this clash with D, and he just blanked me, and I'm like, "Hey, God!" But I unknowingly asked for help in that podcast episode.
He blanked you?
Yeah.
Hey.
I unknowingly asked for help in that podcast episode, and I saw my brother rise to the occasion and stepped up to kind of be like a man in his life and then help me out with stuff like that. I noticed that switch. I don't know if I ever said thank you, but thank you. Or thank you, really. So, there's that dynamic of, are you enough as a mother? Doesn't the child need a father and all of that? So all these things come to play in the relationships that we have. And I felt like it played out in our relationship as well. And so we find ourselves even now still fixing certain things. Because whether you like it or not, we've come from these backgrounds. We've come from these experiences. We've come from these traumas in certain occasions. And I know they say it was a word that Gen Z like to throw around, but trust me, a lot of us born in that time.
Yeah,
we did have trauma. We didn't just have a name to it. Yeah.
We called it growing up.
We did. And I say, be a man, toughen up, be a woman, and all of that.
There's literally a nail or a scissors right in your hand. And you're like, are you too much? Yeah, be a man. You're dying inside, but you can't speak.
Yeah. So all of these things did affect us.
You were made to be a man by force, by fire. Now, so you remember the times I look at you and be like, "I'm man, you be." Raise chest.
No, because I don't want to be a man. I don't want. So in that time, I was reveling in it, but I realized when I started to experience what it was like to be loved, to share some of these burdens with, to be protected, I realized, why was I trying to be all tough and hard and fun? No. I don't need that, please. Hello, sir, butter me up. Toast me up, make me buttery.
Rum belly. Yeah. So this feels like a segue from the friendship into relationships thing.
We have segued away from that,
Yeah.
and we are actually are at the point where we're like now where we're together. So what happens when you move from the friendship to relationship part, and you are honest with your feelings about each other and your expectations about each other, and you're communicating, is that you now start to get into who you really are with.
Exactly.
And that's why we're giving this background, because we did that.
There are lots of unconscious switches that will happen where you go from, and just like we mentioned the last time, let it flow, don't force it, right? There are some of those unconscious switches that will happen. For example, the switch of I am absolutely responsible for this person. Responsibility is different from trying to force my will on this person. By responsibility, I mean this person's well-being is now more my concern than it was before.
Even more than your well-being.
Yes. Even more than your well-being. And that thing is weird.
Some of you didn't like the sound of that, did you?
They didn't like
Did
it.
you?
I'm gonna sing a song that my late foster father used to sing to me. You understand? He said, Joy, Joy, that's what Jesus said. Jesus first, yourself last, and others in between. He sang that song so much into my head that I learned it unconsciously and it became a part of my life.
Like you just transitioned into it.
So it was there before, but meeting that man, rest in peace, Paul Udengi, absolutely changed my life. Right? Which brings us to that same thing about needing a father in the life of a child.
Yeah.
Hey, clean my sweat, my love. Oh, Chineke.
Because it actually absolutely does matter.
Yes.
Like you grow up and you're this amazing person, all thanks to true baby God rest her soul, but
there were still things that need to be learned.
Yes.
And I want to give special shout out to 3 young men who were my mates. They were my friends. But these men grew up with fathers who were so present in their lives, and they saw that absence in my life, and they began to plug those holes with the kind of advice they gave me, with the kind of tough love they gave me sometimes. And we called ourselves the Dissectors Club from school.
Shout out to
The Gentle, Ishaku, Abel, in no particular order.
God bless you guys.
In no particular order. Because these 3 men were all roommates, were all in the same course, and these men just kept dropping nuggets into my life, which absolutely changed my view and understanding of a lot of things. Because I was an absolute mommy's boy. Absolute mommy's boy, right? And that is why they say the father is very important in the family, because it is the man who prepares the child for life outside the home.
Not the mother.
The mother nurtures the child. The father prepares him for the battles out there. Do you understand? In both genders.
So you're saying all this now, and I'm thinking, oh my God, my boy has a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, yeah, he does. Oh, yeah, he does.
Because it's been, 16 years?
And I'm grateful to God that out of those 16 years, I've been able to be very present in his life for at least 3 of them.
Oh yeah, in my case, slightly different from his, because he and his father split up while he was 4. So he had, the first 4 years, so yeah, in retrospect, what is that, like another 12 outside of the leadership of a father?
Yeah.
Mostly, yeah. So,
yeah. So these 3 people, and then Paul Udengi, they literally poured into me what it means to be a man, right? And I am so grateful. This thing about knowing the kind of friends that you have and the kind of company that you keep,
so cute.
They helped me become in character the man that I have become today. And I am learning more and more. But of course, above all of it is the Holy Spirit, who was and still is the greatest gift that I can ever have. I beat my chest to say it. I smell pepper pot. Oh, Lord Almighty. You get. And that helped me see you helped me see you as a friend first and foremost, because my experience with my mom as a friend. And then when the switch happened, helped me see you as my woman, again, because of my mom, and understanding the responsibility of a man to a woman. First of all, I had seen the absence of a man in her life and my life, right? Then I now saw what it was like for a man to be in the life of a woman and see her thrive because of her man through my foster father. And so I learned that, and that was what you enjoyed.
Still, I'm enjoying.
And you still are enjoying.
Yeah.
Even though I had not that much time with him as I would have loved to, because we became rather close about 3-4 years before his passing. So I can imagine what my life would have been like if I had gotten closer to him
earlier,
the longer period of time that I knew his daughter, because I knew him through his daughter, right? You know, that kind of thing. So it helped me understand that telling a person you love them is not just a statement. Telling a person that you love them is a pledge. Is a pledge that will require you shedding your own blood, your own sweat, your own tears to ensure that they are good.
So let's break that down. There is this tendency to want to self-preserve.
Yeah.
When you've experienced a couple of things in your life, maybe growing up into your early adulthood stages and all of that, that makes it very difficult for someone to swallow what you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
Blood, sweat, tears.
I know.
This is on top of the fact that you have said Jesus first. I mean, we are believers, so we will say that always. Jesus first, yourself last, others in between. But I promise you, it takes some kind of help to actually get you doing that constantly.
Yeah.
And it can only be divine help. I mean, you have the help of, again, I say this, you're blessed, and God bless you if you have family that supports you, that understands you, and even when they don't understand you, will pitch their tent with you and say, we're gonna, stick it with you and see how this turns out. And then to have friends like Gentle Ishaku and Abel who, help to mold you at some point. But you see that part
I forgot
about
one name. James Mbedeuji, forgive me. That was a man who told me, dude, you need to man up. That was
How old were you when he told you to man up?
30.
Oh yeah, okay. If at 30 you hadn't manned up, you needed to be told.
Like,
I have a problem with telling people that when they're like young.
James was the guy who choke slammed me into reality outside of school.
That has to be an interesting story.
Another episode.
Okay. Like choke slam
into reality. Like, dude, time is going. Get your behind up and get to doing this, and that.
Yeah. So shout out to Mbedi. So, again, I was trying to get some clarity and perspective on why one must shed their blood, sweat, and tears for another person because they love them, right? And for us to get to that point, we have to touch on some of the things we needed to fix in ourselves and for ourselves for us to get there. So let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
You and me, coming from our different backgrounds, I think I kind of mentioned one already. I needed to fix this thing of you have to do it all by yourself. There's no other person for you but you. And even when you have help, it's just not enough. If you're not doing it, nobody can do it the way you want to do it for you and get the kind of results that you want. I feel like I had to fix that to some extent. Yeah. What was one of the things that you say you had to fix coming from your background in coming to this place where we are now, now that we're together, having transited from friendship to relationship?
Okay, ask that question again because I don't think I get it.
Okay. You have a background.
Yes.
I have my background.
Yes.
One of the things that I carried into my relationship with you through friendship and even now sometimes is this sense of I'm in it all by myself. Like you literally hold me. I think you held me this morning and said, I'm here, I'm with you. Because I find myself going back to that place as a result of my experiences growing up. I find myself going back to that place where sometimes I feel like I'm in this, and if I don't fix it, nobody will for me. So that's something that I had to work on, and you're helping me fix it. We're fixing it together. Was there anything that you brought with you from your background into I would say our relationships, leave other relationships, because we transited from friendships too. Is there anything that you brought with you that you feel like we're fixing or we had to fix?
Do you remember how it took a while for me to tell you, this thing they worry me?
Still happening.
Do you understand?
Still happening.
So, as much as I was trying to be there to help you carry a burden, I got to that place, and we need to also balance works. Balance is very important. As much as I've said, shed your blood, sweat, and tears, and all of that, there is balance. Don't go and die.
No.
Don't go and die.
I will catch a grenade for you.
But you're supposed to die for you.
So that is the thing. That is the thing. We need to understand it.
But when I say don't go and die,
don't confuse me.
But anyways, there's balance.
I'm for you. You are for me. We know it. So based on that,
yes,
shed them all. Blood, sweat, tears. Yes. Die.
Yes.
Join
for each other.
Not for another person.
But if you don't want to die for me, I'll kill you. I'm just playing. Of
course you are. Fear lets you.
But not be fear now. Daddy no let
you. That's the fear we're talking about.
But anyways, kidding aside, asking for help was a challenge I had. And that is because it came from a place of, I had spent so many years in the doldrums, going through a lot of financial issues.
This is after Chibaby passed?
Yes. Okay. Financial issues.
Before then you were good? Mama had you covered?
Problems. Momsy had me covered.
Yeah.
Financial issues, depression, all of that, going from driving a taxi to being a cleaner to selling cakes on the road, all of that shtick. Not be like, say, I no go school, graduate, human anatomy, second class, degree, you understand, all of that. And then having to be asking here and there, please, can I have 1,000 naira? I'm hungry. Please, can I do this? Because in all this time, I tried to get a job, and the job just wasn't coming.
Getting you.
Do you understand? And I didn't have the slightest idea what it meant to have a business. Do you understand? Oh my God. Woo. You.
Can you get to the back of your head?
Just marry person.
Come to this world to be suffering like this.
Marry person.
See what we're going through to record content for you people. We are sweating.
I have AC.
Apart from the blood and the tears, he's sweating for you.
Sweat. I have AC there, but for you. But anyways, I had come from that place, and I was beginning to have a semblance of balance in my life. And I was beginning to say, never will I be found
asking for help.
Because I don't like to feel as though I am at the mercy of somebody. Right? Coming into a relationship, one of the biggest fears I had was my not vulnerabilities, my incapacities being laid bare for the person to see. Right? So I always thought I had to
have it all together.
Right? But it wasn't like it was a conscious thing. It was a subconscious thing, just like yours. But then I learned that vulnerability is required for a relationship to thrive as much as communication as well. Vulnerability is different from being a liability. A liability is I cannot help myself for anything at all. Vulnerability is this is my weakness. Prop me up as I try to be. That is for me. That is what I understand.
Liability to me is the person acknowledging their weaknesses, but also
Having no
considering
intentions to work it,
themselves
yeah.
as helpless completely. They can't help themselves. They require another person to help them for them to be
And they
better.
don't even seem to be ready to make anything happen. A vulnerability, for example, and I'm going to tell you, it's easy to say this to you because the kind of relationship we have had, we communicated with each other, we still communicate with each other, and we're able to tell each other, Omo, see where I failed, though. Omo, the same pain, Misha, and Baba, no worry, if you run up. Remember when we were dating and I saw somebody and I suddenly had a sexual attraction to them? Who was the first person I called?
Me.
You. Why? Because in the past, as friends, I've been able to speak to you about see what happen, see what happen, see what happen. And you laughed about it, advised me on it. We get into a relationship and then we have certain conversations. Remember the conversation we had about me saying, I no go lie you, I be man, no. I go see woman outside if you make my body rise, but I will can't tell you. I said it that day, and your reaction to it gave me the courage
Impetus.
to not impetus,
I'm
courage
playing.
to actually come and say it to you when it did happen. Because I already know what I am capable of. And instead of hiding it away from you, why not let you know about it from the very start?
So I think a fear that a lot of people have with doing stuff like this is, even though the person might seem cool and chill with it at the time, there are certain conflicts that may arise
That the person
where
will bring it
the
up
person
again.
will bring it up again.
So I trusted you and still trust you to be mature enough to know that you will not use my weakness as a weapon against me.
Father, help me. Father, help me to be this mature. Because sometimes we're weak. Sometimes our resolve is really, really, really weak. And then there is that tendency where even if that is not who we are, is the thing of how much pain can I inflict on this person in this moment. This person has such a thick skin. What is that one thing that I can do
to break this person down?
Break this person and make them feel as hurt as they have made me feel.
But you know the funny thing?
Say.
The mindset of that is from a person who themselves are traumatized from the past because of something like
Agreed.
that. Because hurt people.
Agreed. And so that's why I asked and I took it there and we're having this conversation, because it's not like we're perfect.
No, we're not.
We still have these experiences from our past. And I would say one thing, I guess, that is helping us and will continue to help us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Is that we're asking for help every day.
Yes. From one another, from God.
Exactly.
Because there's something we said to
and
each
also
other at the start.
learning.
Yeah, there's something we said to each other at the start. And
yes.
My foster mom, Caroline Uday, told us something at the beginning of, our counseling for our relationship and everything. And she said, you should remember that you cannot by yourself love a person. You cannot. Instead, you have to learn to let God love the person through you. Right? So if you say you're trying to do, I got it in check. You will fail.
Yes.
Fail.
Yes.
She said that. And the second thing she said that struck us so much was outdo each other.
In love.
In love. So we are constantly looking for ways to make the other person happy. And we are not happier. And we are not doing it based on our own love language. We're doing it based on the next person's love language.
Interesting. I saw something about that today that basically was saying, forget about your own love language and just love the person in their own love language. I think it all requires balance. It's all about balance, which brings us back. So my own that I had to fix and we're still working on fixing is, hard girl, independent woman. Independent was she.
I will have to say though.
What?
That you have actually softened so much. That hard girl thing hasn't reared its head in a very long time.
Hello, sir. When I have teddy bear, soft plush, see, it's making noise, Yeah, so you made it easy for me. And that's the thing. I think people who have similar backgrounds to the ones that we have, who are trying to just sometimes let the load off, I guess sometimes we're not lucky. Is it up to luck? Sometimes I find that these things, it is with a lot of intention. You don't leave it to chance. But let me just use the word luck anyway. They're not lucky in the kind of persons, the kind of people that they end up meeting and opening up to, because they really want to. Us women, we want to. I see this dynamic play out a lot where look at the Black American community, for example, out in the States, and it just seems like there's this dichotomy. It's either you have struggling Black women who are baby mamas and, everybody's just taking digs at them, or you have overly independent, overly ambitious, charismatic Black women, alpha females that are now so alpha that they're intimidating. And then it's like, okay, what's in between is not really giving a lot of face. You're either seeing this end of the stick or this end of the stick. And that happens because at every point in time, societal pressure and cultural pressure contributes to the kind of women that you see in a society. So we really, really want to just be this in between, not raggedy ass, and not.
I like when I used to come
and not overly independent women. Trust me, the women who are doing that one, they don't want to be there.
Say again.
Let this dog stop barking.
No, leave bingo. What is this thing you said, Nana? That
trust
they don't want
me,
to be there?
A lot of the women that you see doing that, they don't want to be there. If they had the opportunity, if they had the room to not carry everything on their shoulders, they will really gladly take it. But it's a case of, I think, that's just my perspective on this.
What about those women that say men ain't worth it? Men ain't.
We're saying the same thing. That's what I mean by the overly independent alpha female. They've left queenhood and they are now kings. God damn it, these dogs.
Kings. They just want to don't like men. Patriarchy.
See, all of this comes from patriarchy. All of this comes from. I can't hear the dog.
Just talk to me, my darling. See, the man in high is coming out again. Just talk to me, baby. Talk to me.
So all of these things come. See, guys, these bingos are frustrating you. This is what happens when you just want to have a nice, easy Saturday recording on a Saturday evening and bingo everywhere.
I think Bingo is trying to tell us that we've spoken enough for today. We'll add some more in the next episode.
Yeah, so they should shut up and let me wrap this up.
So we will wrap this up in the next episode. Thank you to Bingo for being such a...
No, we're wrapping it up right now. How dare they? Yeah, so let me just finish my line of thought.
Go ahead.
What was my line of thought again?
Bingo took it away! Alpha female.
Yes, so a lot of them don't want to be that. But life has happened to them. Sometimes they themselves happen to themselves, truth be told.
The patriarchy.
But that's why we're trying to fix it, because what you then have is people on the opposite end just bashing each other and trying to bring them down as much as possible.
Male, alpha male.
And then when they get into the relationship scene, it is just this whole toxic, nobody's trying to listen to each other and understand each other kind of scenario. So we're trying to fix it. Yeah. So in closing, have you had a story similar to us? Would you like to share? What are some of the experiences that you've had? We'd like for you to, send us messages and let's compare notes if you can. Do you think that there is still some fixing that can be done to right us all and make it easier for us to transit into the next level of our lives, especially when it comes to relationships? Or do you think that there is no fixing it and the world is just this huge ball of hot beans that nobody can chew?
Where did hot beans come from?
I don't know. Hot beans.
Remember to like, share, and hot beans.
Like, share, and subscribe, follow, and send us messages if you want to partner with us or sponsor.
Comments.
Yes, all of that. My name is Mrs. Akosin.
I'm the big one, and I don't know why they call me that.
You're supposed to say Mr. Okosun.
Oh, sorry, I'm Mr. Okosun.
Thank you so much.
The big one, and I don't know why they call me that.
We'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye.
Coconut head. Coconut head.
You did not do the handshake. What's wrong with you?
I didn't know it was that thing.
It's our thing, Joe. Let's do some people jealousy. Okay, we don't want to do that. I'm just playing.